Thus, the Powerpuff Girls were born! Using their ultra superpowers, Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup have dedicated their lives to fighting crime and the forces of evil!
Hello friends, how's it going? It's me, Betty Jean. Happy Hallobean. So for today's Hallobean video, I wanted to do my take on kind of three modern Powerpuff Girl looks. I did Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup, as you kind of saw from the intro and gathered from the title and thumbnail. I don't know why I'm rambling. I just wanted to take the idea of those characters and make them modern, grown-up, nowadays, but it's still like a cute costumey idea. It's something fun, more simple. Obviously, in retrospect, these are just three regular looks, but when paired as a trio, maybe you have some friends, or maybe you just want to do these yourself. I think it's fun, and it's just, I don't know, I just felt like doing it. Let's just get on with it. This video is quite long, so let's move right on in. All right, hello, this is look number one of this three-look video. We're gonna be doing Bubbles today, hence my blue shirt. Obviously, I'm not doing like crazy in-depth costumes or anything like that, because I wanted these to be more just like casual, modern Powerpuff Girl type looks, you know? I didn't want it to look just like cartoony. I wanted it to look, I mean, essentially these are basic looks. Like these are regular looks that you could wear any day of the year. I just thought it might be cute for like an inspiration idea, maybe to do with some friends or things like that. But I probably talked about this in the intro, so let's just move on. I already did my foundation, concealer, powder, cream bronzer, and cream blush, and my primer. I don't know what all I said. I've already done my base. I used the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Primer, the Milk Makeup Flex Foundation Stick, which I used for the first time, and I actually really like it. Let's see, my concealer is the Flex Concealer from Milk, the Baked Bronzing Stick from Milk, the Swish Cream Blush from Milk, and my Blur and Set Powder from Milk. I know I've been using a lot of Milk makeup. They sent me a beautiful goodie bag, and I'm obsessed with absolutely everything. I can't stop using it. But now let's move on to the rest of my face. I wanted to do my blush with you, as well as highlight and freckles, and obviously my eyeshadow. So I want to use two different blushes because I'm extra. I'm going to dip into my Juvia's Place Sahara 2 first and take this one here called Lena. It's like a brighter, lighter pink. And I want this to go on the majority of like my temples, apples of my cheeks, things like that. Doing kind of a blush drapey technique. I feel like when I think of Bubbles, I think like innocence and cute. So I want just like those really classic, cutesy, pinky cheeks. I'm going to take it just slightly into my hairline up here, just a tiny little bit, just so it flows in with my temples. I am going to be wearing a wig, so I'm not too worried about getting blush in my hair. And then obviously I want it on my nose, because I always do that. I'm just going to take my powder brush now and help blend it out, make sure it's nice and soft, even though I do still want a very blushy look. And now I'm going to dip into my Likely Makeup Clown Blush palette, and I want just the tiniest bit of carousel. Literally just barely tapping my brush in, and I just want that focus right on my apples. I think I'll pop this on the tip of my nose as well, just to give a really pinky tip. And now we're done with blush, so we're gonna move on to freckles. Obviously you can skip freckles, but I always wear fake freckles. It's my favorite. And I feel like, again, with that kind of innocence and cutesiness that Bubbles portrays, I always associate a lot of freckles with cute. I just love it. So I'm going to make Bubbles quite freckled, specifically on my nose and tops of my cheeks, because I feel like that's the most like innocent, childlike looking placement. Not saying if you have this you look like a child. That's just what I think of when I think of cutesy. And again, you could obviously skip freckles. Freckles are just like one of my favorite parts of my makeup routine, so I try to incorporate it in any way I can. Just dabbing some of that freckle product on, and then I use my finger to pat them out and disperse them, make them softer. You can just dab them on and let them sit, but then they're a lot more opaque and a lot more harsh, so to speak. This makes them look more soft and diffused. I'm just gonna pop some sporadically, like on my forehead, temples, lower on the face. I try to be as random with it as possible, even though I do want the focus mostly in like that center portion of my face. I do like to have some sporadic randoms. Very, very cute. I love it. Just gonna take my blush brush and Just kind of tap over it so it looks like the blush is kind of sitting on top of the freckles rather than the other way around. For highlight, I think I just want to use my Milk Makeup Flex Highlight in Iced because I just really like this one. It's another one I just can't really stop using. Because I don't necessarily want them to be glowing to the gods in like an astronomical way. But I do want like a really pretty sheen to my skin. I feel so cute right now. I'm going to quickly spray my face with my Apocalyptic Beauty setting spray for the recently deceased. Just gonna let that sink in and then we will move on to the eyes. I'm thinking I just want to be very wide-eyed, very bright in the center and across the lid, and just have more of that depth and dimension right in the outside of my eye. I think I'm probably going to do a half cut crease just because I can really carve and open up that inner portion because I really want to have a wide-eyed effect with her look. I think I'm mostly going to use my Certified Affinity 2 because I really want to use some of these blues, but I also think I'll dip into my Creepy Cute palette from Shroud just so I can have access to like this gray and maybe this blue as well. We will see what happens. I'm first priming my eye with my Sigma eyeshadow base in Ignite, and I'm not going to set it because I don't prefer to do that. I'm just doing one eye at a time as usual just because it makes my editing life easier to only focus on one. Let's see, I think I'm going to start with Tombstone, the gray from the Creepy Cute palette, and I have this angled brush. It's a B04 from Spectrum. I'm going to start by placing that kind of in the outer portion of my lower lash line and then carrying it a little bit through just the very outer corner. With the little bit of leftover with very light pressure, I'm just going to lightly start dragging it kind of towards the front of my brow just to again leave that space pretty open. Kind of like that. You see how that already makes my eye look very open? It's very cute. Now I want to dip into this one here. I'm not good at pronouncing the names in this palette from the Certified Affinity 2. It's just kind of like a lighter mid-tone blue, and this is a random brush from LMFG Cosmetics. There's no number on it. But I'm going to use that to start just kind of packing some blue through my crease to help blend out that gray, things like that. It's like a really stiff pencil brush, so I'm not really doing a whole ton of blending out. I'm more so placing this color down, and then I'll use a fluffier brush to help blend things out in a minute. But I'm not going to take this darker blue much further than about halfway across my lower lash line, and I'm only taking it just slightly where that gray was before on the actual crease. Something like that. And now I want to take the lightest blue from the Certified Affinity 2 palette, and I'm going to take this blending brush from BH Cosmetics. It's the number 9 from the Color Festival collection. And this I'm going to use to really start fluffing around and blending things out. More focused in the outer corner because that's where we have most of that depth. And then as we get this outer corner taken care of, I'll bring more of this through the inner portion. I'm going to mix the two blues that I had just to make kind of another concoction on my brush, just to continue to help blend out this outer corner. I feel like a costume idea kind of like this would be perfect if like you wanted to kind of dress up for school or for work with some of your work friends or school friends, but you didn't want to do an outlandish costume for your whole day. Something like this would be absolutely perfect. I'm taking the brush I used with the gray. I don't have any additional product. I'm just kind of taking it to help blend out and extend. I'm actually going to wipe off the biggest brush that I had and just continue to help buff and blend. I am absolutely loving that. So for my lid, I'm going to be doing my half cut crease with my MBA Cosmetics glitter primer because I've said this before and I'll continue to say it. I like this one for cut creases because it kind of removes my makeup on my lid. So I just have a little dot on this flat brush from BH Cosmetics. I'm just gonna run this across my lid and then just carefully start carving out where I want this cut crease to land. If my brush is a little too liquidy, I just tap it off. But I love it because if you smear this glitter primer around, it really does kind of remove the makeup, which is perfect for helping just kind of carve out where you want things to sit. It's a very thin formula, so it doesn't feel like I have a bunch of cakey stuff on my lid. I'm actually going to take this inner corner pretty high just to keep that very wide-eyed effect. I don't want that crease going all the way down into my actual crease like I typically would. And now I'm going to dip into this kind of white-blue duochrome that's in the Affinity 2 palette with the exact same brush. I'm just going to dip right on in. I'm not scared of it. And I'm just going to place that across my lid. This shade is so cute. And I'm just following that same kind of cut crease that I carved with the glitter primer. Keeping that inner portion nice and high. I'll probably even blend out this inner corner so it's more soft and not as harsh there. But I do want it to be pretty tall. Just gonna take that brush I used in my crease to help blend this outer corner just a little, or the inner corner I should say, just a little bit. And then I'm also gonna use the brush that I used with the gray to help smudge this outer corner. I don't have any additional product on this brush, just so that it flows from matte to shimmer nicely. I'm also gonna take a little bit of that white blue duochrome and pop some of it down here underneath my lower lash line, just in the very front, and I'll just kind of connect that inner portion. And now I actually want to dip into my Creepy Cute palette again, and I'm going to take just kind of a quick little mixture of the gray and black with this flat brush from Colourpop. It's an E11, and I want to extend my lower lash line just a little bit. I'm going to start by popping it right up against my lashes, and then as I get towards this little front area I just laid down, I'm going to kind of bring my lower lash line down as if to make my eye look a little bit bigger. So I'm just taking it a little lower than my actual waterline. Just gonna blend it out with that second blending brush we used, the one with the darker blue. And that's pretty much it for the eye look. I'm going to pop this white pencil in my waterline just to really open my eyes up even more. I might even toss my blue mascara on the lower lashes or something like that. We will see. But I'm going to throw on my lashes, something on my lips, and we will chat some more when I'm complete. This is Bubbles complete. I think she looks really cute. I feel like this is kind of what Bubbles would look like if she grew up, you know what I mean? I thought I had blue scrunchies and I didn't, so I ended up just opting for my black scrunchies and adding these blue barrettes, and I actually think it's more cutesy and innocent. But yeah, blonde hair, pigtails, that's kind of a given, because that's just what she does. My lashes are the Likely Makeup Anxious Angel lashes, of course. On my lips, I ended up going with Warm and Fuzzy from Dose of Colors because it's just a very cutesy pink. And then I topped it with this e.l.f. tinted lip oil in the shade Petal Pink Kiss because it's a little more pinky pink, and I wanted that little bit of a sheen. I don't know why. It was just a last minute decision. I also ended up putting my Little White Lies white mascara from Colourpop on my lower lashes because I really feel like it helps kind of open my eyes up. But yeah, this is Bubbles. Let's move on to probably Blossom next. I think that's what I'm gonna do second. Hello, we're going to do Blossom today. I need to change my plugs. I meant to not leave my blue ones in. I will get to that, it doesn't really matter. My wig is gonna cover it anyways. Obviously Blossom doesn't have light hair, so I have a wig for her. I totally could have just done this for Bubbles, but regardless, now I'm rambling. I just did the exact same thing for my base routine that I talked about for Bubbles, but I will always have everything listed down below if I forget to mention something or if you're curious. I feel like with Blossom, I just think very glam, like she is that girl, you know what I mean? Like she's very glam, very, I don't know, almost like the more Instagrammy one out of the three. In my opinion, that's what I visualize, that's what I see. That's what I'm gonna roll with. That's what I'm gonna go with my gut. Let's go in with some blush now. I wanna do a pinky blush again because she does wear a lot of pinks. Like I have my pink right here, and I'm gonna have a pink scrunchie in my hair, but she's more of an orangey pink, more of like, I don't know, rather than like the Bubbles where it was more of that innocent like pinky pink, I want more of a warmer pink going on. So I kind of want to start with this Tau shade, I don't know how to pronounce it, from the Juvia's Place Saharan 2. And I'm just going to, again, just kind of focus it. I'm going to do a little bit of blush draping. I'm not going to go as hard as I did with Bubbles. Well, I say that and I'm probably still going to be extremely blushed. Yeah, I'm still heavily blushed. That's fine. I can't steer away from it. I just can't help it. A little on the tip of my nose again. I gotta keep my style in there somewhere, you know? But I think that's kind of where I want to leave it. I'm actually not gonna dip into my Likely Makeup Clown Blush palette, shockingly. I just think this amount is good. I don't think I want it any deeper than where I have it. I know blush probably seems like such a weird thing for me to overthink constantly. I love blush. I just like to make it as important as possible. So now I am going to include my fake freckles because I can't help myself. However, I don't want to be as freckled as Bubbles. I just want a couple cute little ones just kind of randomly, like something like this. And then I'm just going to carefully tap them out because I don't want them to disperse as much. I want them to be a little more almost like beauty mark-esque rather than actual freckles. I think that's pretty much where I want to leave that. Again, not very freckled, I know. That's just what I'm going with. And for highlight, I'm going to dip into my Iced Flex highlight again, just for the same reason. I do want like a pretty glow, but I don't want it to be like blinding in your face out there. So cute. I'm going to now just set my face with my Apocalyptic Beauty setting spray for the recently deceased. So for my eyeshadow, I think I might use my Give Me Glow Vintage Rose as well as my Ace Beauté Blossom Passion. Can't do a blossom look without the Blossom Passion. I don't know if I'm going to use both of these, just one of these. That's just what I pulled out. And I think I'll end up using one of my Stila Glitter and Glows just to really give a very glam effect across the lid. But first things first is I'm going to prime my eye with my Sigma eyeshadow base in Ignite because that's just what we do around here. Similarly to Bubbles, I really want like depth and darkness in the outer corner, but I really want to elongate this. I think I'm going to start with, oh, it's so hard to decide. I think I'm going to start with Velvet Petals. And I'm going to dip into that with this angled brush from Luxie. It's a 207. I'm just going to dip in lightly because these Give Me Glow shadows are quite pigmented. And again, I'm going to start by running that under my lower lash line, and then I will drag it up into my outer corner, and I'm just going to use the shape of the brush to lay down that wing-like shape, and I want my eye to stay pretty relaxed and open, just so that I can see where that shape will lay when my eye is just doing its thing. And again, I want a wide-eyed effect with her, even though I want hers to be a bit more dramatic and glam. I still want to take that crease just a little bit higher than my natural crease towards the inner portion, just to really open up that center of the eye. I'm actually going to wipe my brush off just so it's a little cleaner. I'm loving the general shape of this already. It's so just pretty and fierce, and bam. I'm going to take Rust Rose now, and this is going to seem like a random brush choice, and it very much is. Just because my brushes are dirty, I desperately need to wash them. This is a Spectrum D05. I'm just going to take a little bit of that Rust Rose shade and just kind of take it kind of right on top of what we just did and blend it slightly higher. And I'm just taking little amounts at a time. This brush is so weird. It's like a stipply brush, but it's also a blending brush. I don't know how to explain it. It's quite odd. I don't like or dislike it. I just don't really reach for it. But considering most of my brushes are dirty, I don't have a choice. And now I have this brush here. It's kind of angled. It's a ColourPop F12. I'm just going to use this totally clean to help buff and blend out these edges because I want the outer edges to stay super soft. And then I'll go back in and add some depth where it needs it. I'm going to take this little brush now. It's an e.l.f. tapered blending brush, and I want to take a little bit of Seduction from the Blossom Passion palette. And I want to use this to really deepen up the outer corner. It looks like a black in the pan, but it's a really, really, really deep kind of blood red color. And it's really nice for deepening up pinky red looks. I'm just taking the leftover on the brush just to extend into my high crease, but I'm mostly keeping it focused out here in the outer corner. And I'm taking just a little bit at a time. Similarly to Give Me Glow, these shadows are very pigmented. However, the Give Me Glow shadows are a lot softer. These ones are more of a dry formula, and I love both formulas with my whole heart. But either way, they're both super pigmented, so just go in with a light hand if you're using these shadows. Look how freaking pretty this is looking. I love this. I'm going to take that big brush again, that ColourPop one that was pretty clean before, just to help smoke out these outer edges one more time. Just trying to extend the outer corner of my lower lash line just a little bit to give that very wide-eyed effect, while leaving the center pretty open. Similarly to Bubbles' look, I'm going to take a flat brush with that Seduction shade and just really extend down my lower lash line just to give it a bigger effect in the inner corner. I am just, however, extending that shadow a little bit further down than I did with Bubbles. Look, hers I left a lot more open. Hers I want to be a bit more dramatic and fierce. I'm so obsessed right now. I feel like all three of these looks are going to be just all of my moods. Just depending on what vibe I'm feeling. Oof, I feel so cool right now. This is exactly what I was going for. I definitely want to put some glitter across the lid. I feel like that's really just going to give it that extra little pop. So I'm going to take Enchantress Stila Glitter and Glow Liquid Eyeshadow. I swatched all of my pinky ones, and I just felt like this one would be the most appropriate. So I'm just going to place this across my lid. I'm going to look up so it can kind of transfer. And I'm just going to use the wand itself to draw my eye. And I'm extending this inner corner again as well, just to give it that wider effect. If you feel like you need to use a smaller brush to really finesse it, go for it. Once it gets to just about here, I'm just going to be very slow with building more across the lid because I don't want it to overpower all that outer corner stuff. And I'm going to take that little e.l.f. brush that I used with the darkest shade just to very lightly smudge this so it can blend, and I'm going to wipe off my brush periodically so that it's not too glittery. Look how freaking pretty that is. Wow. I am going to take just a teensy little bit of that glitter. I wiped it off on the brush so it's not too heavy. I'm going to pop a little of that right above that fake lower lash line that I laid down against my lower lashes in that inner corner just to add that little extra element. And then I think to highlight, I think I'm going to use the light shade in the Vintage Rose palette, this Blossom color. Oh, how appropriate for Blossom. I did not plan that. And I just want to pop that directly in my inner corner. You could just use the Glitter and Glow shadow, that'd be fine, but I just want this more icy pop. I feel so good in this look. I haven't done a look like this in quite a long time. Oh, but I think it's so glam and pretty. It's very vampy too. You could do a really pretty vampire look with this. I might edit this out, but if not, I might have already uploaded my vampire look if I realize that's how my schedule is going. You could totally do something like this if you wanted more of a pretty vampire look and then maybe add those veiny lines with it. And then you could have like a pretty version. So yeah, I think I'm just going to pop the white pencil in my waterline again, just to, again, open up the eyes. I'm going to do the same thing to the other eye. Hopefully I can make it look as beautiful as this eye. Throw on my lashes, probably going to be Anxious Angel again from Likely Makeup. Something on my lips, I don't know what it's going to be yet, and we will chat some more. All right, this is Blossom. My hair is so tall. I have this bun with the pink scrunchie in it, but it's hard to see because it doesn't fit in the frame. But that's how I decided to tie in her little hairstyle. I know she wears like it half up with the ponytail coming down with a bow, but I figured I'm trying to make it more modern, so I thought the top knot with the scrunchie was more modern than a bow. And I already own the scrunchie. But you could do whatever you want. I love this wig so much. It's so pretty. And yeah, this is Blossom. I feel like I look like her grown up in my humble opinion. I think it's very cute and I'm quite a fan. I ended up putting that white mascara on my lower lashes again because I just feel like it really helps open the eyes and give that very animated kind of effect. And on my lips, I went with mostly Poof from Lime Crime, and then once that was put on, I just kind of tapped Mad for Magenta in the center to give that pinkier vibe. And I really like how this look came out. I feel like it tied together quite nicely. Put in my Blossom plugs. They're roses, but whatever. And yeah, I think Blossom's cute. Can't decide if I have a favorite right now between Blossom and Bubbles. But now let's move on to Buttercup. I'm really excited for that one. All right, hello. It's time for Buttercup's look. I have the same base routine as the first two looks, and again, it will be down in the description box in case you want to know. So, I think for blush, I want to keep it more on the neutral, subtle side. I feel like Buttercup in my mind is more of like the punky, alternative, borderline gothy kind of girl. So I don't want anything too bright and fun and fresh on the face. I want that to be more neutral and subdued and have the eyes and lips be more of the standout focus. So I'm going to dip into my Juvia's Place the Hair into again, and I think I'm going to do kind of a mixture between the pink and the brown just to create more of a neutral toned kind of blush. So I'm just going to tap back and forth into both. And then just lightly dust it on my face. I'm not going to go too crazy. Again, I'm probably still going to be more blushed than like the average person likes to be, just because I like that little element of style, but not as blushed as maybe I did with like Bubbles or Buttercup. I mean, Blossom. I'm getting all of their names mixed up. . 。 . 。 . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . Just taking my powder brush to buff things out a little bit, but this is pretty much where I want it. Nothing too crazy compared to the other ones. I am still gonna do my fake freckles because like I said in the first two, I just love them. I'm gonna find kind of a happy medium between the minimal amount Blossom had and the crazy amount that Bubbles had. I think I might do a heavy amount, but just literally on like my nose. And that is pretty much where I want to leave that. I'm going to highlight my face with the same Milk Makeup Flex Concealer because, like I've said in the other two, I want a glow, but I don't want it to be like too loud. And now I'm just gonna spray my face with my Apocalyptic Beauty setting spray for the recently deceased. And for eyeshadow, I really just want like an elongated black smoky lid blending out into a darker green and then to a very vibrant bright green. Obviously I'm not wearing a green shirt. I don't really have any green shirts and I didn't feel like buying one. And I felt like I kind of could get away with wearing more of like black with pops of green in my makeup. I don't know. That might be pushing it, but I also just didn't want to spend money on shirts. Obviously, it will help sell the illusion more if you have a green shirt, but otherwise I'm going to just really have those pops of green in my eyeshadow, and I feel like her look is gonna pop next to the other two, you know what I mean? So for this, I'm gonna use the Creepy Cute palette for the black and potentially this green here, and I'm also gonna use the Certify Affinity too because there are lots of beautiful greens. Like I might use this one, this one, all sorts of stuff. So yeah, let's prime my eye. I'm gonna use my Sigma eyeshadow base and Ignite like usual, and I'm not gonna set it because I don't do that. So I'm gonna start by taking the black in the Creepy Cute palette, and I'm just gonna take this smudgy brush. And I don't like to pull on my eye too often, and when I do, I like to just go in very lightly. But I'm almost gonna draw like a winged liner with this black. Just to get kind of that basis started. Like I said, I want her to be more of like the alternative punky one. So we have to take those elements of my roots, so to speak. Love a good wing. And then look up right from the bottom of my lower lash line. I'm only going to bring this about halfway across because I am going to extend that lower lash line in a little while anyway. Don't worry about it being too perfect right now. I'm just trying to get like a rough outline. Going ahead and extending that lower lash line down just a little bit. And that's kind of where I want to leave that. I know that looks absolutely insane. It'll come together. So now I just have this pencil brush and I'm gonna go ahead and dip into the Certify Affinity 2 with this darkest green down here. And with that, I'm honestly just gonna kind of pull on my lid again, just a little bit. I'm not yanking too hard. You totally don't have to do this. I know some people are weird about it and I definitely don't do it all the time. But once in a while, I feel like it really helps me just blend across the lid like this. So I don't want this green to go up too high. I'm just taking little bits at a time and just going in slowly and blending right kind of on top of that black just to start giving that green hue around it. And I'm going to wipe this brush off periodically just to make sure it's not getting too blackened. I feel like this look is going to be the most like tedious and time consuming just because there's lots of slow blending to get this black blended out into the green the way I'm envisioning. It's gonna look really bad and sloppy until it looks good. Just stick with it. I'm gonna grab this more medium-sized brush and I'm gonna take this green here. It's kind of like a medium tone green. I'm gonna dip into that a little bit and I'm actually gonna start with my lower lash line because I really want to get this blended out before I work on the top because I don't want any of that black from my lid end up transferring onto my brush and then on my lower lashes. And again, I'm just kind of taking it on top of my lid. And now that I'm kind of at this step, I'm not going to be afraid to kind of bring this through my crease a little bit. I'm I'm going to take this big brush now. It's a Spectrum C06, and I think I'm going to take this lightest bright green here, and I'm just going to use that along the outside perimeter of all of this, just to really give that bright pop and that nice little blend right along that outside edge. And then I'm going to work back on the interior, adding in some blacks and smoking things out, and then I think at the very end I'm going to add an actual winged liner, just to really define things. And now I'm going to go in with this little brush here with a little bit of black mixed with that darkest green. And I'm just going to start taking that kind of across the lid, just blending it around. I'm just going to keep kind of going back and forth until I like the way everything flows from the black to the green. This is coming together slowly but surely. I'm gonna go in with that medium blending brush with that medium toned green. I don't have any additional product going on right now. I actually might not add an additional winged liner. I think this is giving me that effect without having to add anything extra. Really, really like it. And then I'm gonna take the brush I used with the lightest green. Again, no additional product, just to help get it up to speed. Buttercup's look is cute, if I do say so myself. For my inner corner, there's this really pretty kind of duochrome green. It's not a duochrome, it's just a shimmer. What am I saying? I'm just gonna pop that shimmery green in my inner corner and kind of right above the underneath where that little line is. I'm just gonna define that little fake lash line. Oof, I love this. I say oof too much. That's just my mood always. All right, cool. I think the only other thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pop that white liner in my waterline. I might even pop that white mascara just to, again, give that wide-eyed effect, even though hers is a lot more dark and dramatic. But I'm gonna transfer this onto the other eye, throw on my lashes, something on my lips, all that good stuff, and we will finish up. All right, this is Buttercup's look. I think it's really cute. I get Buttercup vibes even though I don't have the green shirt. I decided to throw in some green accessories with my hair, but yeah, this is Buttercup. Same likely makeup Anxious Angel lashes that I don't think are fully stuck down. On my lips, I went with the Menagerie Cricket liquid lipstick. I just felt like the black was appropriate. You could do a green lip, but I felt like that might have been more costumey and less modern Powerpuff girly. I feel like this makes more sense. So this is what I ended up doing. Morgan's here in the peanut gallery, by the way.
How do you do?
Yeah, I think it's cute. Let's just move on to the end of the video now. I'm sure this video is long since there were 3 whole looks involved. All right, that's it. Those were the looks. Which look was your favorite? I don't know. I feel like I resonate with Buttercup and Bubbles the most, but I don't know which look was my favorite. I like them all. I really can't pick. So you'll have to let me know which one was your favorite, and also just let me know which Powerpuff Girl was your favorite. Not necessarily my look, just in general. I don't think I have anything else left to say. I think I said it all in each look. Yeah, if you made it to the end of this very long video, leave a food emoji. Why not? Leave a food emoji. I don't have anything better.
Sushi.
Sushi. Morgan wants you to leave a sushi emoji specifically. If you like this video and are enjoying Hallobean so far, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're not already, please hop over to my Instagram. It's beautbean. Follow me there. I post every single day, and don't forget to subscribe. I'm posting every single day in October for Hallobean. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Okay, bye.